Hello and welcome to our international free webinar. Once again, I'm Umme Salma, core volunteer and head of campus ambassador in IGP. Hope that you all are well and thanks to all for joining with us in this wonderful evening. Now, before we begin, let me remind you all about IGP Visions. Institute of Global Professionals is a non-profit institute to serve you all by training, webinar, online, offline course. IGP organizes best and trained speaker coaches from all over the world to present front of you all a best learning platform. IGP mission is to empower people and enhance skill of today's generations. So let's start our program with IGP mantra, feed your skill. Our today's 83 webinar topic is Research in Action Beyond Expectations with Honorable Three Speaker Ramon T. Serrano and Jandra Jarate. Our first speaker is Regional Educational Program Supervisor, Senior Educational Program Specialist Mathematics, Department Head at PIPS in Abu Dhabi. So please give a warm welcome to Zandra ma'am. Hello ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. I just
Good
fixed
evening.
my presentation. For a while. Hello, everyone. Pleasant and safe evening to all. I'm Dr. Zandra Zarate Paruginog, and you can call me Dr. Z, from the country where confidently beautiful women with a heart dwell, the Philippines. Welcome to this international webinar on research in action beyond expectations in the new normal. Before I proceed, I would like to chat to our attendees. Who among you here are novice, experts, and even veterans in the field of research? Kindly write on our chat box below your answers. Okay, so while waiting, we're still waiting for the respond of our viewers from Cagayan de Oro. Good evening. Okay, again, I just want to hear and read the views of our attendees. Who among here? Okay, we have here practitioner. Good evening. Okay. So who among you here, dear attendees, are novice, expert, and even veterans in the field of research? Okay, so good evening to all of you from South Cotabato. Okay, even in other countries, watching from Bulacan also, from Batangas, novice, beginner from Nueva Ecija, okay, from Agusan del Sur, okay. Okay. Oh, I've seen many of our attendees are already experts, and some are even veterans. And for those who are still novice, no worries at all. My dear attendees, this is the right avenue for you to gather insights to widen your horizon in the art of research writing. Now, my next poll will be who among you now, my dear attendees, experienced submitting their research paper in different reputable publishing or journals, but either rejected or received numerous revisions from their peer reviewers?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, we can't see anything in your slide. It's a white screen only.
Okay. Yes, there's no presentation yet because I'm asking the poll of the viewers with respect to
Oh,
the
okay, okay.
questions
I
that
thought I thought
I'm
that I thought
dealing
that
with.
some yeah, technical issues.
Yeah, no, there's no technical issues appearing on my presentation yet.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-mm. Let me see from them. Okay, so okay, no respond yet. Let me see. Hello from North Makenduja. Never tried submitting. There's no problem. So, good evening, watching in Gimba, Nueva Ecija, watching from Puerto Princesa, Laguna. My question happened to be who among you here, attendees, already submitted research paper, however, been, of course. Okay, so let me see. Approve my first international publication. Well, congratulations, ma'am. Okay. No experience yet. Nothing to worry about. Okay, good to hear that majority experience being rejected by some reputable publishing. I will explain further or later why such is important during my topic presentation. Now, my last poll question would be who among you already successfully published their research work, of course, in reputable journals, and how many papers? Is it by group paper or individual? And did you pay for it or is it for free? Let me see. Okay, no experience yet. Haven't tried. I'm reading some of the comments in the comment box. So, okay. Others are it's still streaming. No published paper yet. Okay, no worries. So, beginning currently writing research paper in school mom. Okay, group thesis. Okay. Watching per PRMSU, Junior High School Department, IBA campus. Okay. No experience yet. Okay, individual paper approved. Well and good. Okay, I guess to be published pa po yung sa amin. Okay, in Tagalog, in our native tongue. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much to all who participated in my poll questions because I presented 3 poll questions to all of you. Good to know that almost all of or some of the attendees are very active and good contributor of new knowledge despite they just submitted it into local publishing or journals, no? Okay, so I just want to remind everyone that this webinar is designed to equip and empower the novice and even those research practitioners and veterans on the nip in the bud of research work in your organization, community, or even in your country. In here, scholar or researcher will opt to think out of the box for the betterment and success of any understudy, whether for action, applied researches, or manuscripts like thesis paper or dissertation. More so, diving to any research project is really a hair-raising, exciting, and even tedious, which at the end, probably one of the reasons that not everyone dares to produce or create. Well, according to some, writing research paper, especially for novice writer, upon knowing that research ultimate goal is to contribute to the advancement of human knowledge, development, and innovation, resulted a huge hesitation to continue researching, and sometimes they procrastinate or having second thought. Now, this is why I would like to share to all of you the beauty of research in action beyond expectation. Research, without knowing it, it really works as heartthrob to people who view change as a part of their daily activities. First, let's immerse ourselves in the world of research. Why research in action? Well, when we say action, we mean movement. And of course, if there's a movement, there is an activity. If there's activity, there is an accomplishment. And well and good, it will arrive to development. And with it comes new knowledge, discoveries, or even innovations. Hence, why research in action? Because of the systematic investigation into using scientific methods and study of data and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. Looking beyond, it will convey cyclical nature of normality that it strengthen the research efforts of those individual solving organizations problem, departments problem, even units problem. With that, we can articulate that research is life. Research in LIFE, fathomable aspect that can be or provide a high level of comfort to students, faculty, practitioners, whether in understanding the work they read or even in their own research. Now, let's start the ball rolling. The L in research is life, which is learning. Ambrose et al. 2010 stressed that educational researchers and researchers agree that learning is much deeper than memorization and information recall. But before I continue with what learning as to research is, I would like again to share and asked everyone of their thoughts on how learning embraces research. Please let me know and write in our chat box below. Okay, so how learning embraces research in your own point of view. Okay, it's new knowledge. Thank you, Sir Aaron. Okay, another response from our attendees. Research stimulates the brain that leads to learning. Thank you, Mr. Ace, Grace. Okay, another respond. Let me see from our chat box. From Miss Anna Bawudin, I stand corrected. From what being said earlier, research maximizes our learning potential. Okay, thank you very much. And last but not the least, from Miss Angela Jacinto, this is where a researcher gain, okay, knowledge, okay, so and unfold critical thinking. Okay, so thank you for your respond. Very well said, my co-research enthusiasts. Everyone is really delving on the realm of learning as to research is. Now, learning embraces research is a process that leads to change, which occurs as a result of experience and increases the potential for improved performance and future learning. There is much more than content, and that we should pay attention not only to the content, but also to thinking processes and other types of learning. One of which is what we call as research-based learning, otherwise known as RBL, that aims to promote and develop research enthusiasts' competencies related to research practice. In here, researcher needs to define the clear objective or objectives of the study or learning, the respondents, the expected learning outcomes, and the desired competencies to be developed or produced in order to determine the appropriate methodology and processes to be applied. The scenario or challenge here should address a situation or problem as real as possible, or if the research will benefit an organization or department, the challenge should be what is currently experiencing for immediate attention and resolution, thus promoting a fertile community of research-based study or learning, constituting an ideal community for the best learning and for the preparation to be research experts. Learning is a change so as to research. This can only be achieved if right flow of information and processes are being laid down, whether it is quantitative type of research or qualitative, as long as researcher is familiar with the process and know how to access reliable information sources to perform any research endeavor, a detailed study aimed at creation or discovery where deliberate processes are followed and something original has been designated or discovered, which is most accurate. This is also to awaken anyone's interest in conducting any kind of research knowledge, empower, and the main problems that an organization, department, stakeholders, or even society faces so that research enthusiasts or even students may broaden their perspectives and focus their field or study areas. According to AIT, or the ASEAN Institute of Technology, simply doing an internet search for the term, for instance, what is global warming, and reading a few websites on the topic does not alone constitute research in academic sense, because this approach, according to them, lacks process and analysis and does not contribute anything unique. A researcher or scholar to them, on the other hand, would perhaps begin answering the same question by narrowing the search to trusted sources, collecting a large set of relevant information, analyzing and synthesizing, then finally creating a new definition based on justifiable criteria. While others will merely evolve themselves to introductions, methodology, results, and discussion processes. As a whole, these RBL can develop researchers' awareness or appropriate research processes and research methods, and can create an inclusive culture of research, thereby constituting in the finding of new knowledge and even leveling up to innovations. I hope I'm making sense to all of you while why learning embraces research. As soon as you try something new, of course, you'll get resistance. Definitely, because that's the irony of change. You need to see your way toward your own path or drive, your own change, and the type of change you wanted to create. And that will be your turning point. Now, even though you didn't know exactly how to get there, as long as you still in your mind the second life of research, which is I, known as invigorating, surely you'll be on the right track and will be headed intently on where you want to change and adopt the new knowledge or discoveries. Through research, invigorating means giving strength or energy to new knowledge, discoveries, or development. That's why it is essential to research. Also, this opens door to applying what is unfamiliar to many and stressing how essential or economical one work or study or even discovery is. This is why journal articles and published articles are vital to the research enthusiasts and experts. As the old research cliche, publish or perish, of course, no doubt, veteran researchers are familiar with. How will you give strength or energy to new knowledge or discoveries if the research work you made will just be stuck in the four corners of your cabinets or drawers? As one of the processes in conducting research, which is to present and share your findings in order to contribute to the advancement of knowledge, discoveries, or development. With the process and presence of reputable journal articles that collect and compile written researches and basically read by other experts in the discipline would serve as gateway to more new researches depending on the information being stressed and studied because it will serve as literature reviews. These literature reviews are very common because the researcher will read and combine these papers in order to impart new idea or perspective. Sharing through publishing paved the way for the awakening of an effective discoveries, treatments, or innovation. The kind of paper you've written will depend on the work which has been done and the target journal for publication as well. Do not be afraid and lose hope if ever your paper will undergo series of reviews, verifications, or clarification with experts in the field of studies. These peers are full of people accepted as experts and have proven themselves capable as publishing researchers. For them, they will review your paper so that they can assess if it is already satisfactory, need revision, or unacceptable. They will not critique your research work merely to malign you or to test your capacity and capabilities in doing research. Rather, to make your paper scholarly, credible, and professionally done. Because your paper is an empirical research article which is an original study and include descriptions of why and how the work was done, as well as what was learned and what it can contribute to the people and society. Hence, I would like to encourage everyone who are here tonight to share and publish your written work or researches. But take note, be aware of predatory publishing or journals that didn't check articles for quality and legitimacy, whether open access or not. You have to be vigilant enough. There are ways on how to spot a predatory publishing, like you need to always check where it is indexed or indexed. Is the journal included or indexed in the major bibliographic databases for the field? Is it peer review? And then what is the impact factor? Meaning, does it contain measurements of average citations received overall in a year or couple of years? And also, you can check the ISBN or the International Standard Book Number, since it's a unique number assigned to each separate edition and variation of a publication. So we have many reputable journals, like one of which is one of the largest, which is the Scopus Journal, and most reputable abstract and citation databases for academic literature. So we also have SCI, or otherwise known as the Science Citation Index, which have shown higher citation rates. And you can also browse and read on ISI, the Institute for Scientific Information. And also you could browse SCIE, Science Citation Index Expanded. All you have to do is to type the URL in your, of course, respective address bar, because journals included in an index are considered of higher quality than journals that are not. When we say index, these are a list of items pulled together for a purpose, no? That depends on the field of specialization. Now, it is a fact that research is a careful consideration of study regarding a particular concern or problem using scientific methods. According to the American sociologist Earl Robert Beebe, research is a systematic inquiry to describe, explain, predict, and control the observed phenomenon. It can either be inductive or deductive in nature. Inductive approaches are associated with, of course, qualitative research, and deductive methods are more commonly associated with quantitative analysis, also as mentioned in the article of Travis Bach, who is an executive director marketing in Honeywell Global. Okay, so next, introducing the next cycle of research is life, which is the F of research, which is fascinating. The question now is, what makes research fascinating? Or is it fascinating at all? Well, in the world of research, fascinating is a big word, since it means great interest or attracting attention, timely research project, problem, or even title should be the topmost priority of the researcher. The focus should not only be for the mere purpose of doing research just for the completion of a requirement, or even merely finishing it because there's a deadline of submitting it to the proper authority for performance appraisal. The guiding point should be the will and interests in the formulation, conduct, and coming up with the deliverables. Of course, starting off with research proposal. The researcher should remember that conducting research involves several experts and specialists depending on the milestone needed by the study. From the quest of identifying the general study area to the choosing of timely research topic, down to formulating plan and methodology, cover how it will be attracted to pursue the study. Not only that, even in the collection of data and how it will analyze and interpret will also constitute the arousal to hold the attention of pursuing the study and coming out with its output, outcome, and even sustainability report. And lastly, During the presentation of findings, it should captivate a fascinating account of information and results. The motivation is the researcher's or scholar's own initiative, creativity, inspiration, insightfulness, energy, and most especially the will to produce a research paper that will be of great help to others and can contribute to the advancement of knowledge, development, and innovations. Truth of the matter is how technology platforms enable the researchers to ease the difficulty in conducting, producing data, and achieving an output with outcome that will be of help in the research process. Well, it can be loosely described as the E of research life. And that E is envisioning. Envisioning is a way or act of focusing to the new normal of conducting research. That's why the question that arises would be, would envisioning a part of research, specifically in gathering data? It allows anyone, whether an expert researcher or novice, to envision what needs to adapt or apply. It helps also to feel the sensation of reaching one's goal even before getting there. Visioning one's goal actually releases endorphins, which are the chemicals in our brain that makes us feel good. What you want to achieve in your research, your output, what will be its benefit to you, to your organization, and even to your society. With the onset of the digital related activities, research practitioners should envision their work beyond expectation. Work that escalates the new normal in the process of collecting data. Majority of the novice researchers are hesitant to conduct a study. Why? Due to the situation we are into, particularly the COVID pandemic, which has prohibited us to be in the crowd for long. Well, gone to that worry anymore. Nowadays, or even this day, with the aid of Internet of Things and the digital advancements, we can collect data without doing face-to-face. There are several tools that a researcher can employ to maximize data collection, even time, as well as mitigating exposure to people frequently. Like, for instance, applying Google Form in the conduct of a survey. Researcher now can easily send the link or QR code for easy access to whatever research question or survey questionnaire they want to fill up. Even focus group discussion will not be a problem anymore, since there are numerous platforms to be used, like Zoom or Google Suite. In short, envisioning through research creates worry-free status in the onset of research process. Mitigation of process failure in the conduct of the study due to current situation can now be controlled. Adoption and embracing what technology platforms offer. Of course, you can browse it in the internet. You can seek assistance with your IT. At this very moment, there are about 16 types as posted by Spacey 2019. Well, it will always depend on what applications or systems suit your study or understudy. Like for instance, if you need operating systems, storage platforms, web platforms, API platforms, robotics, game platforms, computing platforms, application platforms, content management systems, analytics, Internet of Things, database, mobile, platforms, and even security and AI platforms, to name a few, of what you need in your study for it to arrive with a good research which follows systematic approach to capture accurate data. At the same time, researchers can always practice ethics and a code of conduct while making observations or drawing conclusions. Well, as a whole, research is life that involves learning, which is L, invigorating, which is I, fascinating, which is F, and envisioning, which is E. It is now a cyclical nature of normality amidst difficulty that strengthen the research process output and outcome. And if anything goes wrong, remember to look where the brighter side is. The L, the I, the F, and the E of research. There is always an accepted and accurate environment for research. Don't hesitate to explore and chase what is best for you or best for your respondents, for your study, and for your beneficiary. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, if you want to change the world, be the change. Thank you very much to all the attendees for this evening. I hope I imparted a very nice information to all of you. Mabuhay and stay safe to all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your beautiful elaboration and with the research. It's a nice thing, actually. So thank you so much, ma'am. Hope to see you again. And we had at the end of the session, we have a Q&A section. So I'll see you there again.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, now it's time to move over for our next speaker. Actually, I don't want to introduce him. I think he will introduce himself. Hello, sir. Sir, we can hear you, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello, everyone. Yes,
Yeah,
good
no,
evening,
yeah,
everyone. Yes, yes, now. It's okay. Shall I
yeah.
introduce myself now, sir?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Oh, my goodness. I would probably assume a lot of positions in my life to introduce. This is an opportunity for me to be the greatest. Yeah, okay. So let me put some light. Well, anyway, I'm Ramon T. Serrano, and you know already from what you saw on the invitation that I took up units in Masteral of Science in Mathematics, major in actuarial science, And I also am now teaching as a senior high school math teacher in Angeles City Science High School. And well, I came from the corporate world before I entered the teaching, but then again, I am bringing in my experience from my previous jobs. So, shall I start now, sir? Okay, so let me share now my slides. Uh, okay, I titled it Research in Action Beyond Expectations, coming from the very nice start of Dr. Sandra. And I would just name it the Statistics in Research. Okay. Uh, shall I proceed now, sir? Hello? Hello, sir?
Hello? Hello, sir.
Shall I proceed now with my presentation? Okay.
Yes.
So again, let me greet everyone a good evening and Shubo Shonda. And let me greet our regional math supervisor, Dr. Nestor Nuesca, our school division superintendent, Dr. Irene P. Tamayo from Angeles City, our district supervisor, Madam Esperanza Malang, our school principal, Madam Casarina L. David, and our senior high school head and school assistant principal, Madam Lutgarda C. De Jesus. And of course, my fellow teachers and our students who are joining us this evening. Okay, but first, let me ask from our audience right now, how many of you are statisticians? How many of you are researchers? How many are teachers? How many are um, already experts in the fields of statistics? May I see the chat in our chat box? Hello, so that I would know how I'm going to start my 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 talk on the statistics in research. Okay, I'm still waiting for some of the uh, okay some of the replies. So let me just move my oh, there should be some delay in broadcast. So I just want to make sure that I'm talking to, you know, to the proper audience. Uh, as I've said, even in my other or previous talks, we may not be able to cover everything about statistics in 1 hour. Okay, and so I will just focus on some relevant items or lessons that we may learn from in order to apply this special field of mathematics, which is statistics, especially in research. Okay, so again, I'm asking how many are statisticians in the in the audience right now. How many are researchers? How many are teachers? Can you just give me some glimpse of our audience right now? If I may ask you, or how many are expert already? Okay, I'm still looking at the last few messages from Dr. Sandra. Okay, let me see. So, how many are teachers? If I may ask, teachers. Okay, can you tell me if you're a teacher or a statistician or an expert in stat or a newbie? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Many are sending their good evening messages. I'm a trainer and a mentor from Anwar Uzman Asad. That's good. I am a teacher from Mary Joy Cañete. Okay, a teacher and a researcher. Very good. And I still have to see somebody who would say I'm a statistician. Uh, And so I'm a math major. Okay, that's great. Uh, a bit knowledgeable in statistics. Instructor, okay, someone is a statistician, my fellow statistician, Antonio Bronia. Okay, accountancy. Okay, great. So more or less, I have an idea. So again, as I've said, we may not be able to cover everything about statistics in 1 hour. So I'll probably tackle some of the major things that would help you in the field of research. Okay, so to start it, we know what is going on right now in our world today, and COVID has given the world a new definition of normal, and that's why we now call it the new normal, right? Without anything else, we need to survive, and that's the number one thing. Okay, and with that, research has never been as widely heard than decades before. Of course, everybody is doing research on the new vaccines. Okay, you can see it from the news every day. Research are being done. What has to be done in order to stop or stem this pandemic? Statistical information has cast a great cloud in all places around the globe, featuring cases of COVID, recoveries, and sadly, deaths. In today's world, data is needed in almost all areas of our life, our existence, from national security, economy, to individual physical state of health. And from one participant I saw a while ago, from Miss Lynn Caro, she posted in the chat box, and I quote, "True research should accurately measure what it intends to measure." Very good, right? End of quote. But how do we process this humongous information, the big data, so to speak? Why do a statistical research, or why do statistical tests to verify the trends? Okay, so let's see. The field of statistics exists because it is usually impossible to collect data from all individuals of interest, the population, which is so huge. Our only solution is to collect data from a subset, sample, as we say, of the individuals of interest. But our real desire is to know the truth, just like Ms. Carol said, about the population. Quantities such as means, standard deviations, and proportions are all important values and are called parameters when we are talking about population. Okay? We can, however, calculate estimates of these quantities for our samples when they are calculated from sample data. These quantities are called statistics in many books. And a statistic estimates a parameter. Okay? Since we usually cannot get data from the whole population, we cannot know the real values because it's moving. Okay? We rely on our information or statistics from our sample set of data. I hope it's getting clear, huh? So that's just to introduce to you the field of statistics. There are mainly two types of variables, the discrete and continuous, which we all studied in our basic statistics class, okay? But for purposes of testing our variables, we can group them into dichotomous, categorical, or data scales, okay? And statistical tests can be categorized as well into parametric and non-parametric. And to simplify these categories, parametric tests assume the distribution of the parameters. We will assume, like, we know the several types of distribution. We know the normal, binomial, Poisson, all these things that we studied in the past. And mostly parametric tests assume normality when it comes to, doing testing of our research, I'll just focus on our research, like mean, deviations, proportions, and even the differences or residuals. The non-parametric tests do not assume. Well, that's the good thing. We still have something to deal with in case our parameters or our assumptions did not comply. Okay, so we have the non-parametric tests, which do not assume any distribution. It's distribution free, and therefore do not need to satisfy the normality of the distribution, the requirement for normality. Now, parametric statistical procedures rely on assumptions about the shape of the distribution. Let's assume it is a normal distribution, okay? And in the underlying population about the form or parameters, meaning to say the means, the standard deviation, proportion, etc., of the assumed distribution. And non-parametric statistical procedures rely on no or few assumptions about the shape, okay, of the parameters, okay, or the population or the distribution itself. Okay. Now, choosing the right statistical test. If you look at your SPSS of your Excel, there's so many applications nowadays which you can download. It talks about several statistical tests. Well, don't let the weird names scare you at all. It's all just typical statistician mumbo jumbo, but the tests themselves are powerful, mind you. Valuable devices to help you in your scientific research. And a computer can do all the tricks, the gnarly mathematical computations, for you. So don't be scared. All you have to do is pick the right test for your particular experiment or research or field of study. And the statistical test that you select will depend upon your experimental design, especially the sorts of groupings, controlled and experimental, the variables, we call them independent and dependent or response, and treatment levels, okay, that you are working with. Okay. So now, keep in mind that a statistical test is always a test on your null hypothesis. We have a hypothesis, something that we assume, okay? And that's the basic, the null hypothesis. More specifically, it tests the probability that your null hypothesis is valid. More to the point, it tests the probability that the two or more estimated means, maybe from your study and expressed in your null hypothesis, belong to the same distribution of means, or whether they probably belong to two or more different distributions. And in choosing the right statistical test, there is a popular assumption when it comes to choosing the proper statistical test, and that is the popular normal distribution. Well, what is this normal distribution? Let me briefly introduce you to this distribution. Okay, what's wrong? It's not moving. Okay, so what is this commonly used normal distribution or assumption in most parametric statistical tests? Let us know the originator. It is also known as Gaussian distribution in other books, after Carl Friedrich Gauss, a German mathematician and physicist who discovered many of its properties. He is even honored by Germany on their 10 Deutschmark bill. Wow, isn't he great? Now, let's look at the characteristics. Okay. Uh, Gauss formulated the distribution, okay, of the function, which is 1 over sigma multiplied by square root of 2 pi, okay, multiplied by e to the negative 1 half quantity x minus mu or mean over sigma squared. Wow. And it is a bell shape, of course, and you can use some applications in order to graph this function, and you will find that it is a bell shape, and where the area under the curve corresponds to the probability from one point to another. Okay. And the good thing about normal distribution is that while some variables may be discrete, okay, because normal distribution is a continuous probability distribution, right? And what I'm saying is that while some variables may be discrete in nature, with increasing amount of data, and we know that from our law of large numbers, a discrete distribution may follow a normal distribution. So if you're doing research and your variables are discrete variables, don't worry. The number of samples may allow you to use and assume a normal distribution. Okay, let me uh, explain further, no? Other characteristics of the normal curve include that it is symmetrical at the center. The mean, median, and mode are located at the center, and spread is the spread. I mean, is determined by the standard deviation. The tails are asymptotic to the baseline on both ends, left and right, meaning to say they approach zero but never touch. Okay, and the total area, of course, which corresponds to the probability, is equal to one. Now let's take a look at what I'm saying a while ago. As an illustration to what I said, here are the graphs of the distribution of the number of heads when tossing 5 coins, 10 coins, 20 coins, or 30 coins. Or what I'm saying is if you're increasing the number of coins, or you can also toss one coin repeatedly, like 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, and 30 times. So take a look at this. Okay. Here you have 5 coins, and this is the graph of the distribution. For 10 coins, you notice that it became a little smoother, right? For 20 coins, it became much more smooth. And for 30 coins, it already resembles that of a normal distribution. Okay, isn't that amazing? So as you increase, as I've said, the law of large numbers will help you get through it. Okay, and the standard normal came into the picture. We're not talking about the standard normal. A while ago, I'm talking about just the normal distribution. Okay, it came into the picture to standardize all units of variables into one single z distribution. Why? Because that means studies on weights, heights, volume, scores, grades, etc., no? Which are in different units like inches, meters, pounds, kilograms, cubic meters, cubic centimeters, you can now utilize only one single table of values called the standard normal table. Okay? To convert the original unit to a standard unit of z using a formula z is equal to x minus mu over sigma. We will not deal with that formula much more. So you are ready to get your samples, right? Okay, so how do we get the samples now? Now that you know what a normal distribution is all about, let me first introduce the concept of the parameter and statistic. Are we okay now? Or are we getting too fast? Or you let me know. Okay? Okay. I'm looking at some of the... Okay? So let me share with you, okay, this drawing about the parameter and statistic. The big and small pictures. What is happening to the world regarding this pandemic cannot be simplified, okay, as collection of big data can take time, space, and money. Hence, the parameters that affect or explain the possible cause or causes of its transmission can be objectively estimated using smaller groups or samples. Okay, hence, the concept of parameter, data from the population, the big picture, and statistics, the data from the sample, the smaller picture came to light. Okay, so we now have from the big picture, okay, to a small picture. Let me see some comments. Okay, so now let me continue. I just got confused with the answers of true and false. No, and I thought you were answering some of my questions. Anyway, let me continue. So from the big data to small data, no? So we apply the proper sampling technique or methodology in order to get a statistic closest to the population parameters. Meaning to say we are targeting the population parameters. And how do we get those values? By using sample, okay, statistic. Okay. A parameter is a number that describes the population. It describes the population. So it is a fixed number, but in practice, we may not know its true value. Well, because, like for example, if you get the averages of all Asians, okay, When somebody dies while you're doing the research, it will change already. When somebody is born, it will change already. So it's a moving value, right? But we can always estimate it, right? So we're talking of parameter. We're talking of population mean, population variance, population standard deviation, and population proportion, etc. Everything about the population. And we call it the parameter. Okay? And let me add some more. Example could include the following. Okay, let me see. A census was taken and the average number of children of a family in the whole island, okay, is 8. The number of children is 8. So meaning to say, for the whole place, meaning to say he was able to do a census and the average number of children is 8. Now, another thing is that the average grade in statistics of all senior high school grade 11 students in 2019 is 95.07 as the grade. Okay? So, meaning to say, for all senior high school grade 11 students. So, we are talking about the population of all senior high school grade 11 students in 2019, and their average grade is 95.07. Okay. Now, let's move on to learning and knowing what statistic is all about. Okay, in many books, statistic talks about the parameters, okay? Or not the parameters basically, but the information about the sample. A statistic, on the other hand, is a number that describes the sample, okay? The sample that you took from the population. It is a fixed number which we can calculate, used in testing our hypothesis, and therefore we know its value. For example, the sample mean, sample variance, the sample standard deviation, and the sample proportion, etc. Okay, so let me explain some example. Okay, example could include the following. So take a look at this. Very similar to the previous one, but it's different. Okay, a survey was taken, and the average number of children of 20 families in a small town is 7. Okay, take note of, did you notice the difference? A while ago, it's for the whole island, but this time we're talking only of 20 families taken from that small town. Okay, so you got the big difference. Let me see. Are you getting with the? Okay, are you with me still? Now, another example is the average grade in statistics of selected 40 Oxide senior high school grade 11 students in 2019 is 95.07. We're not talking of the whole senior high school population, but rather we're only talking of 40 students from my school, Oxide, Angeles City Science High School. Okay, you got the idea? Okay, so this is very important, no? That's why I want you to play a little mind game to identify if the given data is a parameter or a statistic. Are we ready? Let me jump to Kahoot. I want everybody to try and check on Kahoot. I'll give you the code. Okay. Let me. I hope you can join now by. Okay. 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 Let's have some game. Classic game. I'll give you the pin number. So I want everybody to open your Kahoot. Is my screen being shared? The Kahoot number 7295202. Sir, is Kahoot okay? I see it on the screen. Okay. I'm waiting for players. Come on. I'm pretty sure the.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Hello. There we go. 7295202.
Yeah.
So she is already in.
Yeah, just
KG,
we have
Romel.
some time for participants for joining.
Yes.
Because already we declared that this is also a quiz competition, and we will issue quiz completion certificate for first, second, and third. So
Oh,
it's not a just a quiz. It's a competition also. So those audience actually lots of audience are interested. So I think we should allow some time, like 5 minutes, for joining.
okay, sure. So, as you heard it, it's not only a game, it's a competition. And so, those who would get the first place, second place, and third place will have some special mentions from our sponsors. Okay. So, I'm seeing a lot already 40, 41, and still counting. I hope my friends will be able to join. And so, people that and my students as well. Okay. My fellow teachers can join. Okay. We now have 55. How many are we? I think we are in 1,000, sir. Are we? How do we handle it if we are?
Hopefully they join maybe 100 to 150.
But from what I saw a while ago, those who have joined is already in 1,000. Okay, from what I see, no. So, but we will wait. Maybe when it reaches 100, we can already start. What do you think, sir? Is that okay? The Institute of Global Professionals will be giving you special citation if you tap this short quiz. Okay, sir, are we waiting for more or what do you suggest?
3 minutes more. 2 minutes more on your time
More,
9:20.
more.
On your time 9:20, we'll just start.
Okay, so no problem, sir. Okay, our sponsor will be extending our time a little bit for so that you will have more participants. Wow, a lot are very much interested in joining our game, which is a contest as well. Okay, I hope working. Many are students, huh? And I'm happy that I see a lot of students who are joining us this evening, even if it's already late
Sir,
night in the Philippines.
one more thing is there lots of people wants to download or wants to know how to join.
Yes, sir.
Those participants, it's so easy. It's so easy.
Uh,
Go to Google and search Kahoot. Then you will find the option play. So you just put on the pin with the play option, that it's you can directly join in the quiz competition. So it's so easy. You don't need to download any apps.
that's right. You just need your Google, okay, your Google browser, and go to Kahoot, and then you'll be able to join in our game. How can we take part in the quiz competition? By Hinarani. This is how you can join or participate. You have to go to your Google Chrome and search for Kahoot. Okay, search for Kahoot, and then you will be able to join. Okay, and so many are already coming in. No, as you can see from the screen, there are already 154, 55, and still counting. My goodness, this is a very interesting game. No, okay, are we ready now? Okay. Wow, I see a lot of my students. Wow. Thank you for joining. Those my research students are. I'm seeing them and statistics students. Okay, they are very.
Someone write that in comment section, Lenny, that can't join. I'm only using phone. You can join through phone also, because your phone has already browser, Google browser. So just go to the Google browser and write Kahoot. Okay, it's time for sir quiz competition. So let's start, sir. So you
Okay.
those who are not able to join right now, so you can join another session, because we as well arrange the quiz competition each webinar. So sir, move for the next.
Okay. So we will now start. So I'll press start now. And okay. Kahoot for formative assessment. 3, 2, 1. You will tell me if it's parameter or statistic, or both, or cannot be determined. Okay. Wow. Okay. So the first, there are 7 who were able to, what is that? No, 3 were able to correctly get it. Okay. So let's take a look at the top notcher is Randolph, Virai, Fredo, Asin, Shi, and KG. Okay. Let's look at the next one. 20% of 760 adult males prefer doing sports, excluding females. I mean, wow. Okay, let's see. Randolph Viray still number 1, followed by Fredo. Okay, Connie, Anna, and Joy. Oh, we can still catch up. Okay. The third question, 3,251 college students showed that 38% think that higher education costs more than what it should. Is it a statistic or parameter? Okay. There you go. So let's continue. And wow, Randolph Viray was taken over by Fredo. Okay. So next question. 62 of the 97 passengers aboard the Hindenburg airship survived its explosion. So 62 of 97 passengers. Is it a statistic or parameter? What do you think? Wow. Let's see the score sheet. Fredo is still the number 1. And As is next, Chris, Riza, and Ems. Okay. Let's go to the next question. The number 5 question, the fifth one. In a survey of 100 online gamers, 8% said their computers need upgrade. 100 online gamers, 8% said their computers need upgrade. What do you think? Okay, let's see. 50 were able to get it correctly. And so, Fredo was taken over by us, by US or what? Us. Burn is now the second one. Okay? Wow. It's very interesting game. Number 6, in January 2020, 60% of the 24 Philippine senators are against death penalty. My apologies to other people who are outside of the Philippines. Anyway, you can always guess, is it a statistic or parameter? 42 were able to get it exactly. Why? Because there are 24 senators. Let's see. Byrne took over with a score of 3,663. And Maris comes in next with Corey, Carmel, and Fredo is now on the 5th place. Come on, Fredo, you can still catch up. Number 7, an average of 1,952 face masks were sold by Mukha Company for its entire operation until its bankruptcy. Okay? 1,952 face masks were sold by the company until its bankruptcy. 45 got it. Good. And then score sheet, we have a new number 1, Zaira Pulmano. Okay? Followed by Byrne. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. This is already number 8 out of 10. Viewer rating showed that 61% of 10,000 students watch sermon YouTube channel. Oh boy, that's my YouTube channel. Okay, is it a parameter or okay, 61? Wow, I hope those 61 will join me and subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's see. Zaira is still number one, followed by Bern. Okay, let's take a look at the ninth question. In a recent year, the average math score on
Just
the national. Yes?
sir, before move the last question, just give some time after
Okay,
ninth question.
give some time. I'm not very sure how this Kahoot can be modified in order to
Yeah, just
extend.
don't click on next button. Just is okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, this is
After
okay for
after this question, we have just only one question left. So
yes.
it's a request. We just identify those three, first, second, and third,
Oh
and
yes,
those three
I
will
will take
definitely contact.
I
Those
will
three will
take a
definitely contact.
screenshot, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Okay, sir. Move to
Okay,
the next. Move to the
move
next.
to the next one. Okay, this is the last question. Let's see. Zaira was taken over by Bern. Okay. By then next by Zaira and Maris. Okay. You still have a chance for this last question. Only a few points, no? Okay. So for the last question, let's take a look. From 50,000 adults, 85% think that China 9-line is not a legal basis of its territory. Okay. So let's see. For the last question, 85.93% out of 50,000 adults. 58 were able to correctly answer it. Okay. And sir, this is it, right? I will click the next and then take a screenshot.
Yeah, those who are first, second, third.
Oh, Saira Pulmano is number one.
Now,
Number three, Bern is number two. And then number one is Carmel. Wow, Carmel from there you go, sir. So we
yeah,
have Carmel number one, Bern number two, and Zaira Pulmano. Okay,
number
you
three.
get it. Now the problem is you did not use
Write
your
your
real names, right?
real name. Yes, I just want to tell them actually. So no problem.
So
Just those three, first, second, and third. Please contact with our page inbox with your full name. Then we can issue your quiz completion certificate within short time. So it's a request only those three, first, second, and third. Please only those contact with us, those three participants, first, second, and third. So congratulations all of participants, but focusable congratulations to first, second, third, and hopefully you will get back to the Facebook page mass inbox, so we can issue the certificate as early as possible. So
okay,
again, congratulations.
congratulations to the top three. Okay, you now have special certificates from our or gift or surprise from our sponsor. Okay, let's continue now. Now let me discuss the most popular four statistical tests that you will want to be familiar with in doing a basic research. We will not be able to tackle all the tests because there are a lot. Okay, it's a one big mile of different research. Okay, so instead we'll just focus on the four most popular statistical tests: the correlation test, the two sample t-test, the paired t-test, and one-way Anova or analysis of variance. Okay, so let me continue. First, we take a note as well that in hypothesis testing, we have the so-called one-tailed or two-tailed test. And for one-tailed, we can test if the new first parameter is greater than or less than the second parameter. That's why you have here, is it greater or is it less? And that is what we call the one-tailed. For the next one, the two-tailed, we are simply testing if the first parameter is not equal to the second parameter. Okay, so take note of that. Now, the first test, the correlation test, goes like this. Oops. Okay. The first is the correlation test. Let me go back. Here, the researcher is testing if there is a significant association between two given variables. This is very common among research. No? Example would be to test if there is a significant association between average daily calorie intake of students and their grades. Okay? And in using this test, if the normality assumption is met for the two variables, the Pearson R coefficient test can be used. Otherwise, Spearman's rank correlation is the suggested test. Okay? So here, we have an explanation for parametric test, meaning to say the normality assumption is, what do you call this? Met. Okay? You qualified to use the parametric because there is a normal distribution. If not, you can still test them using another test, which is Spearman's rank correlation. Now, how do we know that our distribution is normal? Let's take a look. Okay. Oh, wait. Before that, okay, here it is. The Pearson formula, which we will not discuss anymore, but I think for math majors, this is very common. They know this already. But for those who are not into mathematics much, okay, don't worry. Don't worry. Why do I say don't worry? Because you can always call on a statistician to assist you in doing the calculation. Okay? But the more important thing is you know what a correlation test is all about. Okay? And for the significance of correlation coefficient, this is what probably your statistician would use. No? Okay. So, and this is a very important one. The coefficient has a minimum value of -1 and a maximum value of +1. So anything beyond will be wrong already. If your statistician gives you a correlation of 1.25 or -2.8, okay, that's beyond already the limit, which is from -1 to +1. At least you know, right? So there you go. You can see on the screen the basic interpretation of the coefficients in terms of strength of association between the two variables. From very strong to, meaning to say the perfectly, no? Perfect, very strong, to none at all. Okay? And just to give you an idea, okay, if we apply the formula given the values of variables x and y, Excel can always provide us with the required sum, okay, and products, and therefore get the answer. So don't worry. If you don't have an SPSS, your Excel is very much of big help. So these are the values. But how do I calculate it without this calculation? Okay, using Excel, if you have your Excel, you can go to okay, using Pearson R, okay, equals Pearson, and then the Excel will give you the necessary requirement, which is basically to get the X and the Y rows, no? How do you call it row? No, column. Rows and column. I got confused already. Okay. So using Excel, okay, you can use the more functions, statistical, and then go to Corel. And that means correlation. Or another way is there you go, Pearson. Okay. You can type in Pearson, and then the Pearson function will show up. And again, it will require the X and Y values. So just a hint, no? So, but I will not be dealing with how to calculate it. Again, as I've said, you have to focus on the type of test. Okay, the next one is the two-sample t-test. As the name implies, refers to testing the distribution of two distinct and independent groups if they are similar or not. This is commonly used for experiments involving a control group versus an experimental group, means measuring a similar variable like perhaps temperature, muscular strength, blood oxygen levels, or perhaps patients. Okay? Another example would be to compare the healing time of a group of patients who are given virgin coconut oil on top of a prescribed medicine compared to another group who are treated only with the same medicine. If the normality requirement is not met, a non-parametric test called Wilcoxon rank sum test is applied to the data. And how do we check if it's a normal distribution? Very simple. You can check the distribution by using a histogram, the most basic of the dependent variables per group, or using Shapiro-Wilk test. Okay. Aside from Wilcoxon, of course, a Mann-Whitney U test can be applied if the normality requirement is not met. Okay. So there you go. The next test is a paired t-test. Okay, it's used when comparing two measurements taken from the same individuals or cases in a sample and testing if there is a significant change in their measurements after the application of some variable. Now, an example is comparing the scores of players in a sample before and after maybe drinking a certain energy drink. This is also called the before and after t-test, okay? And if the normality requirement is not met, don't worry. There is always a substitute, and that is the Wilcoxon signed rank test. And as usual, you can, okay, where are we now? The paired t-test is used when comparing two measurements taken from same individuals. Did I say it already? The before and after t-test? Okay. And how do we check? We can check the distribution by using, again, the histogram of the differences or using Shapiro-Wilk test again. Okay? So another option is to use the Wilcoxon signed rank test for non-compliance. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one, the paired t-test. One can check the distribution by using a histogram of the differences or using Shapiro-Wilk test. A Wilcoxon signed, again, as I've said, this can be used, no? And if you're using SPSS, it's at the bottom row of the t-test. Okay. And let's take a look at the last one. The one-way Anova. This is quite complicated for many, but if you are familiar with the applications in statistics, this is just a simple task. There are times when the researcher would like to compare the means or more than two variables. Okay, say variable X, Y, and Z. You have three variables, let's say, or more. Perhaps one can think of doing a t-test on X and Y. Okay, then another t-test on Y and Z, and another t-test for X and Z. However, for statistical reasons, it is considered illegal, okay, to use t-tests over and over again on different groups from a single experiment. So we don't do that. If there are three groups, then we have a test to do to handle that statistical analysis, okay? Thus comes the one-way ANOVA, which is used to compare means between three or more distinct and independent groups. An example is comparing the efficacy of three medicines, let's say, on three groups. So we have ABC and medicines 1, 2, 3. Okay, we are going to compare them. Again, if the normality requirement for residuals, the differences, is not met, the Kruskal Wallis test or Welch test is applied. And to check for normality, a histogram once more. See? You see how important the histogram is? Or a QQ plot of residuals, or a Shapiro-Wilk test can do the magic. Okay? So there you go. Let's talk about the four different tests. Okay? So don't worry about if the assumptions is not met. We have the Kruskal-Wallis test. So there you go. Another example is measuring your feet size. Okay, this I saw in one of the experiments. Okay, each morning, noon, and evening for the next 30 days. Wow! And record the results and test if the sizes tend to differ for the three measuring times. Meaning to say, if they significantly differ, wow! That means by time, one can assume that indeed our feet change its size during the day. And isn't that wonderful or frightening? It all depends. Okay. Uh, so there you go. Let's have another. Well, There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I have uh, about 1 hour. For 1 hour, I have given, I hope I have given you enough knowledge to learn more about the significance of statistics in coming out with informed decision regarding assumptions on our population. So, with that, I hope you can enjoy doing your research. Okay? And as I've said a while ago, if you're afraid of doing the research because of the statistical part of it, don't worry. There are a lot of statisticians around who are ready to assist you. You can always contact me. Just an advertisement. So let us recap. Okay? So let's see. You can answer on our chat box to test if having games in between class will produce a different result between sections A and B. The researcher applied the game's activity in section B while not in section A. So assume normality. What do you think is the answer? What kind of test will be used? Can I see from the chat box? Okay. If the teacher will give games in between classes, will it produce a different result between two sections the teacher chooses? Okay, so meaning to say the teacher will apply games on one section or one class, and but not on the other section. Okay, what kind of test would you use? Of course, let's see. If your answer is two sample t-test, you are correct. Okay, since the two sections are distinct and independent groups, comparing their average grades can result into a statistically similar or statistically different. Hence, a two-sample t-test can be used. Let's go now to the next one. To test if giving medicine X will improve the breathing of patients with COVID. The researcher took breathing measurements and before giving the medicine X, okay, and after, before and after giving the medicine, okay, and assume that paired differences is not normally distributed. Okay, I think there's some typo error here. The researcher took breathing measurements before and after giving the medicine X. Okay, that's what it means, no? Assume that paired differences is not normally distributed. Well, what do we do? Of course, let's take a look at the answer. Since this is a before and after type of test, a paired t-test can be used. However, it did not satisfy the normality requirement, so the Wilcoxon sign rank test will be used. There is always a way out. Okay, let's go now to the third question. The researchers are looking at three factors that can contribute to COVID infections of residents of a certain area. What test shall be used to assess if the factors, okay, are equally potent as the others? Okay, assuming all variables are normal. Okay, let's go back now to having a normal distribution. So what do you think? Of course, you got it already. There's only one, and that is since there are more than two factors to compare, one way Anova is likely to be used to know if there is a significant similarity in the degree of effect among the three factors. But mind you, Anova, you can have a two-way Anova, okay? You can also have Anakova, which is a analysis of covariance, okay? So you can learn that later on, okay? But just to give you an idea. Okay, and for the last one, you wish to know if there is a significant association, okay, between the number of times one was assigned to spreading of viruses among health workers or healthcare workers in a small clinic. What is the best test to use if the variables are not normally distributed? Again, we have this not normally distributed. Okay, let's take a look. If normality, normally a correlation test using Pearson R can be used. However, due to non-normality of data, the Spearman's rank test will be used. Okay? So I hope you are able to understood clearly the four significant statistical tests, the most popular, I mean. Okay? And you can always do now your research without much worry on the statistical part. Okay. Oh, by the way, in case you wish to check on my other educational videos, you can visit my YouTube channel, Sermon, and feel free to subscribe as well. I want to see you there. Okay. Thank you once again to IGP, the International Global Professionals, for inviting me to share my knowledge in statistics for this webinar. It has been a pleasure being a part of this endeavor. And thanks also again to our regional math supervisor, Dr. Nestor Nuesca, our school division superintendent, Dr. Irene P. Tamayo, our district supervisor, Madam Esperanza Malang, our school principal, Madam Casarina L. David, and our senior high school head and school assistant principal, Madam Lutgarda C. De Jesus, and to our sponsor, to our MC, thank you very much for this opportunity. To God be all the glory. Thank you and good night. Sir?
Hello, sir and madam. Actually, we are looking for some question, but still no question appear in the comment section. Dear participants, if you have any question regarding this webinar, you can write in the comment section. Someone wrote that I have no question.
Doxy, you're still awake. How are you?
Yes, we're still here. Congratulations
Congratulations,
for the
Doxy.
presentations. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you
I
very
hope,
much, IGP,
thank you, IGP.
Thank
I
you,
hope
ma'am.
your
Thank you.
audience enjoyed it. Okay,
for
as
the
much as I did, no?
opportunity in sharing our knowledge.
Ma'am, it's a first of all, this is time is total pandemic time. In this time, we have to spread knowledge. Because if we focus on every religion, that one point is noted that knowledge sharing is the highest performance. Knowledge sharing is the highest contribution for your society. Is the first priority in the every region.
That's right.
So this is the platform where anyone can share the knowledge, where anyone can earn the knowledge also. So that's why this platform is so engageable and focusable for all audience also. So it's a trying. I'm just trying to build a community who can learn. Because Zara ma'am already started one word, that is L. On the behind, she wrote earning. When I take the class, I took class on the my students, so I also guide them. If you want to earn, then you must put a word or a alphabet in front of earn. That means you have to put L. You have to learn. If you are able to learning, then you are automatically get back to the earning. So it's easy code. So
Grateful for
you know,
having IGP around. We are very grateful for having
thank you, man.
IGP.
Thank you, man.
Yes, we have. I really have to thank you also for spreading this.
Ma'am, one question. One question that is
Hmm?
from Ria Ghosh. Do you have another
Oh,
session of the statistical text?
uh, they're asking for more, huh?
Yeah, they're
From
asking
Ria.
for more. No,
Oh my
actually,
goodness.
they are real knowledge hunger. They are real knowledge hunger because
Yeah,
uh,
I'm
if
happy.
if they want certificate, then it's an easy process to collect certificate. But they want to learn more. That's why
Yes.
she already asked, "Do you have another session of different studies?"
Oh,
On my side, I have an answer. That is, we have another webinar on research, which is around 29th May.
I see.
We have
And
another webinar on 29th May based on research.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
And three speaker from Gambia, Pakistan,
mm-hmm.
and both are research scholar, and they also guide how to research presentation or how to apply for research journal in direct physically.
Oh,
Sorry,
I see.
in
Okay.
live.
It's very interesting as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Another question.
What's another? How does none? Wow, that's they're really hungry for statistical test.
Yes, of course.
But
It's
that will
really an eye catching. Yeah.
yes, I think
There's
it will take
always
an
a room for that.
yes, madam. That will take another good session on non-parametric
Yes.
test, maybe. But I covered only four, but there are a lot of statistical tests
Statistic.
out there to use.
Sir,
And
I
if you
think
look
we
at
should. I think we should arrange another webinar also
Mhm.
yes,
It's
for
another
those
set
knowledge
of
hunger.
webinar.
For those knowledge hunger, actually.
that's right. Yes, sir.
No,
A
it's
lot
so
of
so amazing participants. I think so amazing participant. They want knowledge. They want knowledge.
mhm.
So a big thank you to you and ma'am, sir,
Yes.
ma'am and sir, because if you guys are allow me to arrange some like that webinar, then I can manage something if you guys allow me.
Mhm.
Yes. By all means, it will be our pleasure, both of us, if
Yes.
there will be another set of engaging knowledge to our audience as well.
Yes,
And I
definitely,
noticed sir,
definitely.
that there are a lot of
Yeah.
students who attended.
Mm-mm.
A lot of students.
Yeah, lots of students here around there. Okay,
Yes.
sir. For now, leave it, cause no question around. So,
Mhm.
uh, thank you so much, dear sir and dear ma'am, for your valuable time and your presentation. Actually, I can describe it or I can pumping it to anyone, because the result is your at your own face on comment section. They want more from you, so it's a lot already a mind blowing session. It was a mind blowing session. It's true. So again, thank you so much, dear sir
Thank
and dear
you.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much as well. Stay safe.
Yes, thank you and stay safe as well, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. For today's certification is always the same process, but someday we will change the process. Now,
Oh,
for now, you have to browse www.eduigp.com, and you can find the today's webinar on upcoming webinar list. You have to click on the program. If you are new, then you have to sign up. If you are already you have account, then you have to log in. Then you can find the program research in action beyond expectation. Just you have to click, then you have to enroll. Then when you are enrolled, on that time you can find a button on the same option, same place, enroll place, that get your certificate. So click on get your certificate without any code. You don't need to set any code, so just click on get your certificate. You will get your certificate easily, and it's a auto downloadable certificate. So if when you are click on get your certificate, just check on your browser or your file manager, download. You can verify your certificate from anytime, anywhere, because every certificate we drop a certificate verification link. Just copy the link and post into another browser or another tab, then your certificate will automatically indicate that your certificate is verified. Our next program will be held on April 19th April. Topic teaching multigrade. It's also a topic of math. So those who are wanted to join with us, it's a same time program, just day after tomorrow. Just day after tomorrow, 19 April, at the same time. And we have lots of more session, like trigonometry and algebra, and we have another lots of session till June. So in between time, you can check your previous webinars also. You can attend your previous webinars also. Just same follow the same procedure. Thank you so much. I will just share the link into comment section. Just allow me some time. I just forget actually. I just forgot about that. I also shared the link in comment section, and just allow me few seconds, then I can pin the certification link into live post, that you are able to download the certificate easily. It's already 5,000 plus comment. I already pinned the certification link into comment section and already shared the link in comment box also. So anyone can check your certification process. Thank you so much. See you again in the after tomorrow. And again, thank you so much, Sir Ramon and Ma'am. Thank you so much. See you again. Definitely see you again in the next
Okay.
any other session.
Thank you, sir. Also, welcome, welcome, and yes. So, shall
Welcome
I
and
start?
thank you.
Yes. Thank you also, Doc Sam. San.
Yes, thank
Thank
you
you
as
for.
well, and God
Yes.
bless. Stay
God
safe.
bless you. Thank you for. Okay. Bye, bye, sir. Shall we unlink now?